English pronunciation can be really hard. There aren't a whole lot of rules in ESOL pronunciation. However, whenever we have some past tense verbs, there can be one rule. Our past tense verbs in English can end with a ID sound, a D sound, or a T sound. If I say these words here, recommended, pushed, kicked, killed, lifted, turned, what sounds do they make? Well, one of the few rules in English pronunciation is that when we look at a past tense verb, look at the last letter of the base verb. If we have the word recommend, the last letter in recommend is a D, and as we can see from the top row, if the last letter is D, the sound is an ID, recommended. So there we can actually say both letters, recommended. Pushed sounds like a T, doesn't it? In the word push, the last two letters are SH, which is in that last row. So yes, the pronunciation pushed sounds like a T. Kicked. The last letter of kick is a K, so this one it sounds like T. Killed. The last letter of kill is an L, which is in that middle row. In this word, the E is silent. Killed. We do not say killed, but it's just killed. Lifted. The last letter is T, so this one's also going to be lifted. ID sound. Turned. The last letter is N. Turned. The E is silent, so in this situation, just turned. We just pronounce the D at the end. Turned. I'm going to read these verbs down here, and I want you to think what it sounds like, what the pronunciation sounds like, and then I will tell you at the end. First, we have worked, played, needed, helped, wanted, watched, lived, listened, invited, washed, looked, moved, rested, walked, ordered. So if you go back to the top, worked. Like with the earlier sound, kick, it ends in a K, so this pronunciation is T. Worked. I worked yesterday. Played. We have play, played. Needed. The last letter is D, so it's an ID sound after that. Needed. Help, helped. The pronunciation here is T. Helped. Wanted. After D and T, it's an ID sound. Watched. I watched Netflix yesterday. Watched. It's a T. Lived. The word is live, but we don't actually pronounce the E in live when we say I live in Dallas, Texas. So live is the last actual sound, which as we can see here, V is in the middle row. Live, lived. We still don't pronounce the E here. I lived in Oklahoma when I was a university student. Listened. The E is silent. I listened to the radio when I drove home. Invited. While invite ends in E, the last letter I hear is invite. And again, if the last sound we hear is T or D, it ends in invited. Invite, invited. I invited my friends to come over for a party. Washed. This is another T sound. I washed my clothes. Looked. It's another T sound. I looked for a new home last weekend online. Move. Again, in the word move, we don't pronounce the E at the end. So if we consider V the last sound, the E is still silent, and we just say moved. Rested. Last weekend, I was so tired that I rested. Walked. The springtime in Texas is so beautiful. Last weekend, I walked in the botanical garden. Ordered. The E is silent. Ordered. When COVID was very bad, I ordered from Uber Eats very regularly. So just keep in mind, past tense, we add the ED for spelling at the end of a regular base verb. And the pronunciation can sound like one of these three, depending on the spelling. So use this as a guidance. Listen to the sounds and practice.